Do you love TV shows? We do too. Hello everyone, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Anna, and we're the hosts of We Judge a Show by Its Pilot, a podcast hosted by us, a married couple with an endless love for TV.
Whether you're searching for a new favorite series or ready to revisit an old classic, we're here to guide you through an infinite world of TV shows.
Each episode, we watch and discuss the pilot for shows, while also sharing personal stories that parallel the storyline.
So if you're tired of endlessly scrolling and not sure what to watch next, tune in and let us do the searching for you.
We Judge a Show by Its Pilot. New episodes every Tuesday and Friday, wherever you get your podcasts.
Your new favorite show is just one click away. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our pod.
Hi. Happy beginning of the week.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Yep.
Already busy. Already crazy.
Already been driving around. Already been doing stuff. Took a break. Watched Final Destination 5.
Getting ready for Final Destination Bloodlines.
Yep. Tomorrow we watched the second one last night, which is the best one.
Yeah.
Best one. The pile up is the best catastrophe. Even though the bridge was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I mean the airplane from the first one's pretty standard. And then the roller coaster was like terrifying the first time I saw it because I saw it in theaters.
But I'm never really going to be on a roller coaster.
Right.
Not that I'm afraid of them. I've been on plenty. But I'm on the road a lot, so that whole log situation is like, you see that truck with the logs, and you're like, get the hell away from me. Yeah, you either speed up or let it go way, way ahead of you.
Yeah, it was a little reassuring to watch the behind the scenes, and it was like it was telling us that the logs don't bounce.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, that's a little reassuring that if
they all just kind of rolled off.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, great movies though. I still don't really remember much about the fourth one. I was tempted to put it on earlier, but then I put on the fifth one instead because I'm like, that is like top 3. Yeah, I like all of them. I just don't really remember the fourth one. So
I don't really remember the fourth one much either.
Yeah,
I do remember roller coaster, the first, second,
the tanning bed, the nail gun. Those were great.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we are continuing this month with adult animation, and was this the one that we're doing today? Was this your favorite one of the month, or one of them?
I'm going to say that it was the one that like really jolted me the most. Like, again, with some of these, I didn't know what to expect because I had not watched or heard of any of several of them. Obviously Bob's Burgers, South Park, Simpsons I knew and had watched, but several of the others that you had selected, I had never heard of them, didn't know about them, had never watched them, obviously.
Yeah.
And this one, as we were watching it, by the end, literally my mouth was agape, and I could not believe what was happening.
This is one of the ones where I was like, I kind of kept looking over at you to see like your reaction to stuff, because like once you kind of we started watching, like for both of us, I'm not just going to call you out on it, for both of us, it is sometimes hard for us to focus, especially like when we've had a busy day or when like we kind of sometimes I have to like really like put my phone down and like really pay attention. If it's something that we've seen, I can kind of listen to it and I know it. But for this month, for some reason, every one we watched had my undivided attention. I don't know. Maybe it always does, and I didn't really pay attention. But like I didn't pay attention to the fact that I was paying attention. But like I remember sitting down and like you were watching it and I was just like, okay, I really think she's gonna like this one. And it was the same with Death Note. I was like, I think when it's a really unique concept and when it's done well enough, like we're not going to be watching like Dragon Ball Z or Pokemon or something like that. Like I think we need something a little bit more mature when it comes to animation, and especially with something like this, I'm like, oh, this is about to get like really violent really fast, and the imagery is a lot. And so we're talking about Attack on Titan. It's a show. It was originally based on a manga, and it's you're gonna say it in a second, but it's the same guy that created not the manga but the TV show, same guy that created Death Note.
Oh, okay.
Tetsudo Araki. And so I can't wait to get your full thoughts on everything, so you can just go ahead and give us some episode and series information.
Okay. Attack on Titan, To You in 2,000 Years, The Fall of Shigen Shina Part 1. Attack on Titan was a dark fantasy anime that originally premiered on the Japanese channel MBS on April 7th, 2013 and concluded on November 5th, 2023. Despite having a 10-year-long run, the series only has 4 seasons for a total of 92 episodes. The show came to the U.S. in 2014 and premiered on Adult Swim's Toonami programming block. The series was adapted from a popular manga created by Hajime Isayama, and we have the return of Tetsuro Araki, the creator of the Death Note TV series, as the series director of Attack on Titan. The series takes place in the post-apocalyptic future where the remaining humans live behind the walls that protect them from Titans, giant humanoids who exclusively feed on humans. When a Titan breaches the wall of their hometown, Eren and his friends Mikasa and Armin join the elite Survey Corps, soldiers who fight against the Titans. The series follows Eren on his journey fighting Titans while investigating their origin and history. The characters introduced in the pilot episode include Eren, our protagonist, Mikasa, Eren's best friend and adoptive sister, Armin, Eren and Mikasa's close friend, Grisha, Eren's father and Mikasa's guardian, Hannes or Hans.
I think it's Hannes.
Hannes.
Yeah.
A guard that frequently squabbles with Eren, and Carla, Eren's mother. Since its debut, Attack on Titan has received universal critical acclaim and is considered one of the best anime and TV series of all time. The series has been praised for its storytelling, animation, character development, soundtrack, and dark themes. It currently holds a 9.1 and is ranked number 21 in the top 250 TV shows on IMDb, as well as a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. The manga and the series have spawned several TV specials, novels, video games, and feature-length films, both animated and live action, although none have been able to surpass the success of the original anime. You can currently watch the entire series on Hulu.
All right. I've seen the show before. I haven't watched it in its entirety. But I knew what the first episode was going to be, and I want to know what did you think of the pilot?
Oh, I mean I was glued to finding out what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously we're watching The Last of Us right now, so the whole concept of like living behind walls and post-apocalyptic future, keeping out something that's bad from you.
Yeah.
Is all somewhat relatable in that sense that we're watching other shows that are like that. So I kind of wanted to see what this was. And then obviously I wanted to see what the Titans were.
Yeah.
You know, they were described as these like giant humanoid things, but you know, I guess I was thinking of something like more mythological, and I'm thinking like Greek mythology. Like I guess I don't know really what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But in the anime form, they were extraordinarily disturbing.
Yeah. Yes.
I was just like, what is happening?
So, it's even crazier watching the live action and seeing that interpretation.
Yeah, what is the live action?
So the live action I only saw once, but I have it on my flash drive.
Oh, okay.
The live action movie. I know I have part 1. I may or may not have part 2, but they made them look really, I mean, it's not as insane because with animation you can do anything.
Yeah.
But like with CGI you could do anything, but like in the movie it just didn't capture like almost the insanity of it. Like it was just I found the live action movie to be kind of like a muddled down version of the anime, but you kind of can't, that it feels like that's doomed to happen because you're adapting an anime into a live action, there's only so much you can do live action without it being completely CGI, which is what people complain about constantly nowadays.
Right.
And this is back in like 2014, so like even back then. And I think they tried to be like as practical as possible. They just weren't able to pull it off.
To kind of capture that same... It's crazy that I felt like I was in shock watching this. Like, I just was...
You were kind of calling stuff, too. You were just and I remember when you called this one, I'll talk about it in a second when we do the pilot summary, but, like, when you called the one thing, I was just like, oh, she just nailed it. I was just like, she just nailed it. And then
I was, like, screaming at the TV. I'm like, no!
It's always funny. It's always interesting, like, what ends up grabbing our interest, because I think maybe for you weren't thinking like, oh, we're gonna watch an anime and I'm gonna like it, like, or I'm gonna get into it, because maybe not you personally, but I think a lot of people think anime is like very childish, or they think it's very immature because they don't know, they've never watched any of it before. Because I think people think of Dragon Ball Z and they think of all these very like kid centric shows, but majority of anime is very violent. It's very dramatic.
Oh, yeah.
It's very TVMA. And, I think people are always surprised when they're like, oh, this is actually good. It's like, it's, just because it's animated doesn't mean it's not going to be good or not cheesy. There's always a cheesy element to anime. Like with Eren getting so, like, mad, it was just very, like, dramatic. But I was in the beginning where he's, like, yelling at everybody. I'm like, can you stop yelling? But I'm just, like, it's for the drama. So yeah, what did you think? You kind of made a comment about the animation. Like you said you really liked it.
I did. I kind of felt like it was this the one that I felt like it blended and looked like art at some point. It
was like still shots of paintings kind of mixed with animation.
It was very like, I loved how it kind of blended off of each other. It made it seem, I'm going to compare it to, I don't know if this is like the right comparison. It's kind of like when we went to that Monet thing, you went to the Van Gogh thing.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like you were in it.
Oh, that's a great way to describe it.
Yeah, I kind of felt like I was immersed into the animation.
Yeah.
Like the animation was in like a real city.
Oh, yeah.
Like I kind of felt that way. And I really liked that. I felt like it brought, it's kind of, I don't know, this sounds stupid, but it kind of is like the reverse CGI. Like I felt like the real stuff was blending in with the anime.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that was really neat how that was done. And that was really one of the first things that captured my attention with it, was because I didn't find it to be super cartoony.
Yes.
And so I felt like I was watching something that was really
like stylish. And,
exactly. That it had like this substance and style to it that really intrigued me, aside from all the stuff that was also happening. Right. So I did like that a lot about it.
Yeah, and I kind of forgot the whole kind of aspect of it where Eren kind of, in the back of his mind, knows that these walls aren't going to protect them forever. He kind of talks about it in the very beginning of the episode. Like he's just kind of like, we're all just kind of living, we're all hiding, but at the same time, it's like
the inevitable
will eventually happen, and one of these things will breach the wall, and that's what happens. And I mean, just when the chaos ensues, it really ensued, and it was really crazy because I hadn't seen it. I hadn't watched this in such a long time that like I forgot how immediately captivated by it I was when I originally watched it. I was just immediately like, next episode. It was just, I just kept watching, and it's so easy when it's 25 minutes. Like, it's so easy when it's just, and the 25 minutes flew by, and it was, before we knew it, it was over. And had we not had other things to watch, you were like, I want to keep watching. This was like, the one where you were like, I want to keep watching. There's another one we're doing at the end of our last show of the month, was the only other show other than this and Death Note where you were like, I want to keep watching. And I think we will, because I want to keep watching it too, because I want to finish it. And so when we originally thought, so on Hulu they have the subtitled and they have the dubbed. so they included all the episodes in there. So originally we were like, I didn't write down how many episodes there were at first, and at first it showed like 50 episodes, 40 episodes, and I'm like, I don't remember there being this many episodes, and it was just, they were just separated.
Well, right, and then I was like, how can they tell this story in so many like how could they stretch it out? Yeah, and then you were like, oh no, it's only 25.
There's One Piece, which is like an anime that has like 1,300 episodes.
Oh my gosh.
It's been going on since like 1998 or something like that. Yeah, and Netflix turned it into
like a soap opera.
A live action. They turned it into a live action that had like 8 episodes in the first season. I'm like, there's absolutely no way y'all are going to be able to catch up to this show. I think they're trying to wait for the show, because they say that the creators of One Piece say, I almost did One Piece for this month, but I was just like, we're not even going to bother. I'm not even going to bother because I've never seen it, and we're not going to watch 1,300 episodes of anything. So
we'll start now and we'll end in 2 years.
And I mean, like, yeah, so apparently they have like an ending in sight, and I think that's why Netflix is trying to jump on it and have their live action. So like, oh, we can just speed this up and get to the end, because Netflix doesn't like doing anything longer than like 3 seasons. So we both said we would continue watching this. I love the animation. I forgot how beautiful it is to look at. Like you said, it's a painting. It's like looking at a live action painting. Actually, comparing it to the Van Gogh experience is perfect, especially in that big room.
Yeah.
Where we're like where it's almost like we're a part of it.
Yeah.
It did feel very immersive. You do get very lost in it, and some of the imagery from Attack on Titan just sticks in your head. Especially, especially with the smiling Titan. Which you were freaked out by. All right, so we're kind of talking about it. It sounds really outlandish, but did you find anything? Can you see how this show could still be relatable?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, always through life, you're always scared of the scary monster, like
the unknown in general.
Yeah, in your closet, under your bed, in the outside walls, the apocalypse happening. I mean, there are always shows like that. So, I mean, you just never know of what's going to happen in your life. And I mean, there are scary monsters in all different kinds of forms out there. So yeah, definitely. In that sense, yes. I mean, we are not trapped in a walled city and scared of these monsters that live out there. Technically,
there are metaphorical monsters.
Oh yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They may not be 50 feet tall and want to eat us, but yeah, there are definitely monsters in this world. Unfortunately, they aren't vampires or werewolves. They're just regular people. Yeah. And but they're evil incarnate. So would you be someone that would like want to fight these things, or would you want to be someone that would like go into hiding? Take out, like, if we're together, both of us are alive, there's no avenging going on.
Okay.
Would you want to?
I would probably feel like my fight instincts would come in.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, I think a survivalist too.
Yeah.
Like I think that is why I love the that episode 3 of The Last of Us, with Nick Offerman is I just feel like I would want to survive and just try to live.
Yeah.
Obviously fighting, there is that chance of being killed or eaten by something. So but whatever we did, I would want to do it together. Like I wouldn't want you to go and fight and me hope you come back, or versa versa.
Oh, it would either be versa versa. It would either be it would have to be us doing it together. Either we're going to fight together or we're going to hide together.
Right.
Like that would be, I'm in full agreement. Now, if one of these things killed you in front of me, I would in 100% be like, yeah, I'm ready to join the ranks, and I'm ready to kill one of these things. Because I'm just like, as dark as it is to talk about our deaths, I mean, like, if one of these things killed you, I would have so sad to say, but I would have like nothing else to like live for. So it would just kind of be like, oh no, I'm alive to avenge my boo and kill as many of these things as I possibly can.
Yeah, I think you would be rallying the troops and be like, we've got to take these out. Yeah, for sure. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Like, if I wasn't soon eaten after you, I would definitely be like, all right, we've got to take these suckers down.
Yeah.
And I think that was sort of what I didn't know, and we don't know yet, like how many of these things there are there out there, because we only saw like a few of them come in, not a few. It was maybe like a dozen or so in that first episode. At the end of the
episode, you kind of see all of their heads like walking around the town and stuff.
Yeah, but you don't get a total count of how many more there still are out there, and you really haven't seen them doing a whole lot to have prepared for it.
Right.
Like, they've just had the walls, and I think that was also what I was curious about, was like, have y'all been like at least building something like some cannons or guns or arrows or anything to try to, you know, take these suckers out? And so I think there were a lot of kind of questions that made me want to keep watching to learn like how this happened, where they came from, and are there any other towns out there? Like, I mean, are there more? I guess I'm going to assume there are, because they've breached these walls, so I don't know how much longer they're going to last.
Yeah.
You know, that's me with questions, always.
All right, so this isn't one of our questions listed. I don't think this isn't like a big bomb I'm going to drop on you or anything. Okay. So this is set in a post-apocalyptic type world. We got some time before we do the pilot summary, so I figured I can ask. I just thought of it while we were talking.
Okay,
so
it's not on the list, so I'm scared.
No, it's not. So it's set in a post-apocalyptic universe. Do you have like any favorite like post-apocalyptic like movies or TV shows?
You know it. Night of the Comet is probably like my top favorite one. 80s.
That's a good one.
I love just that whole concept of the comet coming and the red dust, and two teen girls left in downtown LA shopping, just hanging out and trying to figure stuff out. So I think that would have been me. I think, you know, I think I just really remember being in the movie theater, and she's like, you know, what we need to do. And she's like, what? And she's like, let's go shopping. And, you know, then it starts with Cyndi Lauper and the music going. And I just was like, at least they're trying to make something good of what had happened and have fun together as sisters. And I think that's also kind of what I think about us. You know that I have randomly thought of things like this, like The Purge. You know, what would we do if The Purge ever really happened? And who knows? Maybe that's going to start soon. You know? Night where, you know, there are no crimes to be had. Everything is free reign. Where would we go? What would we do? What room in this house could we try to barricade ourselves in for 24 hours? So I've really thought about stuff like that. And I think that's kind of where I think movies, TV shows and stuff are fun, because it makes you think of what would you do in this situation. So, I think those are probably two of the ones that I like. The Purge series and Night of the Comet is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, kind of a random one that I didn't think of, but it is a post-apocalyptic movie. It's a comedy, but I love This Is the End.
Oh my God! Yes, of course.
It's so funny. It is a much more, I mean, it's the biblical apocalypse, and This Is the End. It's not like zombies or whatever. It's like, you know, the Revelations, and I feel like it was sadly a very realistic depiction on how most humans would probably react.
Yeah, they'd be counting the food and how many Snickers there are, and you know, bottles of beer and whatnot, and fighting over them, and boarding up your houses and trying to last until you could, and whatnot. So yeah, that one is a good one. That one, you know, that's one of my favorite ones.
Oh yeah,
so.
I love that one. And then
I was raised in a house by women.
I know you love Day After Tomorrow.
Oh well, of course.
That's more of a disaster movie, not necessarily a post-apocalyptic. But then you got this whole era of films in the 2010s where it was like Hunger Games, Divergent, Maze Runner, The Giver. You had all these like post-apocalyptic, and I know we're both big Hunger Games fans, particularly of the first two movies.
Oh yeah.
I didn't read the books. I think you did.
I did.
Yeah. But yeah, and I also, I mean, I Am Legend is so good. Very sad, but very good. Also, kind of a, if you're the only person left on Earth, like, you know, like the loneliness and like the idea of it, I think people are really intrigued by if there was some type of apocalyptic event. I don't think it would be as spectacular or as interesting as people make it on TV. I think it would just be, if there is ever an apocalypse, I think it's going to be very uneventful. I think it's going to be something that is very much like we did it to ourselves.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so the idea of an apocalypse, it's like, I think there are a lot of people that hope they're alive when it happens because they want to see if it's real or if it can really happen. You have people that live out in the mountains that are survivalists, that live in these bunkers that are preparing for this. And it's just really crazy if the idea of it actually happening is, I mean, it seems silly, but you also kind of have to think, like, it could happen. Like, there are things that, like, it could happen. Like, there's this movie called Assassination Nation. It's not a apocalyptic movie. But to me, it's like, oh, this is how we're going to go out. Like, it's about a town. It's set in Salem, Massachusetts, and it's everyone in the town's phones get leaked.
Oh.
So all of their private information gets leaked to each other, and someone hacked all of their phones and leaked all of their information. So you find out everybody's secrets.
Oh.
You find out everybody's search history. You find out everybody's what's in their photos, what's in their emails, and it's everyone's reaction to, oh, this person's, you know, sexting with my boyfriend, or this person's doing this and this. These people are having a secret relationship. This person has this type of porn on their phone. Like, and then it just causes chaos in this town, and they start killing each other over it. And I'm like, I remember watching that for the first time and being like, this is how it's going to happen. I was like, it's going to be something stupid. Like, it's going to be something so stupid. Yeah. And I
can you imagine? I don't know, when did that movie come out?
It was when I remember I watched it when I lived here. Well, I live here, but like when I was already living here when I watched it, Maude Apatow was in it, and it was like pre-Euphoria. So maybe like 2017, 2018.
Oh, okay. And imagine now how much like social media, like apps, websites, internet access people have that like transactions transpire. I mean, probably like exponentially more than that a decade ago.
Yeah, I mean, like, if it's not a random, because the only other thing that I could see being in reality is like just a random like Armageddon style or Deep Impact, where it's just what are they called, an asteroid or a meteor. A meteor gets into Earth's atmosphere and crashes in and destroys everything. That I feel is more realistic than, I mean, zombies and all of that other stuff. It's going to be us. It's going to be us that kill each other.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to be like, I think people want it to be like, oh, and then our lives are going to turn into Hunger Games. And it's like, no, it's not going to be even close to that. Like, we're just going to annihilate each other. And that's the reality of it. All right, let's get into this plot summary.
Let's do it.
It's going to be a short episode. I kind of figured it was going to be. But I'm assuring all of you, well, one, we spent an hour with BoJack Horseman, which I was not expecting us to do that at all. Maybe it's going to be probably a little less than an hour because I'm gonna have to edit it. But but I'm assuring you that in June those are going to be some long ass episodes. So, yeah. All right, so we are going to get into this plot summary. The giant hand of a titan above Wall Maria, humanity's outermost wall, ominously looms over the onlookers below, gaping in awe. The narrator explains how on that day humanity received a grim reminder, and how they lived in fear of the titans and were disgraced to live in the cages they called walls. Earlier that day, beyond the walls, the scout regiment.
Start over.
Okay. Earlier that day, beyond the walls, the scout regiment are traveling through a forest when they encounter a titan. The soldiers attempt to assault it in an effort to establish humanity's first base outside their own walls. Closing in, they break into 5 groups, with some as bait and some as attackers, and start using their omnidirectional mobility gear and launch an attack. Within the safety of the walls, a child, Eren Yeager, awakens from a dream, crying. Mikasa asks him why he is crying. but Eren is unable to remember what he was dreaming about. While returning to Shiganshina, while returning to the Shiganshina district, Eren and Mikasa encounter a group of soldiers guarding the gates, including their family friend Hannes, who are all laughing and drinking on the job. Eren voicing his concerns very loudly, voicing his concerns that the soldiers will not be ready in the event of an emergency, and is reassured that the walls are 50 meters high, taller than any known Titan, and there has not been an incident in the past 100 years. Sounds like when it's been 100 years, you're due for an attack.
Well, right, because that's why I was saying, I'm like, we haven't seen these Titans yet, and so.
After speaking his mind on the situation, once again very loudly, with Eren comparing their situation to that of a caged animal, Eren and Mikasa continue on their way. Eren expresses his desire to join the scout regiment in the future. Just as Mikasa starts to discourage him from that suicidal goal, the bells begin to ring, signaling the scout regiment's return from a mission. The regiment's parade through town leaves Eren and other onlookers commenting on how few have returned. One of them looks at a smiling Eren and turns away in sadness. Soon after, a mother starts to look for her son Moses among the survivors. Yeah, this was the part.
Yes,
among the survivors, only to find that his arm was all that was recovered. I remember they handed her this. They hand her, which was a fucked up thing to do. If you ask my personal opinion, like, where's my son? Be like, here he is, and hands him this wrapped up thing, and you're like, oh my god, it's gonna be an arm, and then they unwrap it, and it was an arm.
But that they unwrapped it right there, I was like, what are these people doing?
Trying to rationalize the sacrifice, she asks if his death contributed to humanity, even in a small way. Sadly, the commander says that their expedition accomplished nothing, which we kind of watched a similar thing on The Last of Us last night.
Right.
Kind of like do you lie to make them feel better, or do you tell them the truth? As bystanders start to give their opinions about the deaths and the waste of tax money, Eren retaliates by jabbing one of his firewood sticks at one of the complaining citizens. Mikasa quickly drags him away from the crowd and throws him against a wall, causing the firewood he had bundled on his back to scatter across the floor. Continuing the conversation she started earlier, she asks Eren if he still intends to join the scout regiment after what they witnessed today. After a brief pause, Eren asks Mikasa to help him pick up the wood. At the Jaeger's home, Eren and Mikasa join the dinner with Eren's father, Dr. Jaeger, and his wife, Carla. Not long after their return, Dr. Jaeger announces that he has to leave for a couple days to see a few patients further in the interior. Yeah, so that was, I think, the thing that I was trying to remember. I was like, so do they have, like, is it multiple towns in this place? Because it's like different layers of walls.
It's like kind of like rings, I think.
Against Eren's wishes, Mikasa tells the family about his plans to join the scout regiment, leading to an enraged objection from his mother. His father asks why he wants to go into the outside world, and Eren tells him he wants to know what is going on and pick up where others left off so their sacrifice would not be in vain. At this, Dr. Jaeger says he must go. Eren's mother asks Dr. Jaeger to talk some sense into Eren, to which he replies that human curiosity is not something one can restrain with a lecture. He then tells Eren that upon his return, he will finally show him the room in the basement which he has kept secret. With his father gone, Eren's mother insists that he must not join the scout regiment and that only a fool would do so. Eren replies that to buy one's safety at the cost of living like cattle is even more foolish. With this, he runs off, and Carla asks Mikasa to watch out for him. As Eren runs, he sees his friend Armin is being bullied by a group of boys who get angrier the more Armin uses reason. Finally, Eren shows up, which seems to draw their attention off of Armin until they catch sight of Mikasa trailing behind Eren, which causes a full retreat, which was kind of funny because they're scared of her, and he thinks it's because of him.
Right.
Eren offers to help Armin up to his feet, but Armin insists he can do it on his own. Later that evening, as the three sit by the river, Armin explains the source of his assailant's anger, believing, as Eren does, that humans eventually need to explore beyond the wall, effectively renders him a heretic in the eyes of the public, as the government has declared any interest in the outside world is taboo. The conversation then circles back to Eren asking Mikasa why she told his parents about his intentions to join the scout regiment. Armin concurs with Eren, wondering if humanity is truly safe with the walls. It didn't occur to me that it's all the different layers, and it did occur to me, but I'm just thinking about it just now, that they're on the outermost layer, so they're like the first line of defense.
Right.
So then you got to wonder if they're going to keep, if they're going to
what's inside.
Right.
Like, how deep does this actually go? And why are they, like, how did they get to have to be at that spot? Like,
right.
I mean, I have a lot of questions, so yeah.
Well, as soon as the words leave his mouth, the ground starts to shake, and there is a loud noise, leaving 3 worried about what happened. Running out into the open streets along with other civilians, Armin is the first to see it, the hand of a 60-meter tall titan above the city's wall. People are watching, shocked and curious, and just at that moment, the titan begins to lift his leg, plunging it through the wall. The onlookers are thrown back, and the remnants of the crush wall plummet into the city, crushing houses and squashing the townsfolk. As a horde of titans forcibly enters the breach, the city turns into a panic-stricken area. Eren and Mikasa hurry through an already severely damaged residential area, hoping that their home is still intact. Turning the corner, he sees that a boulder has landed on his house, with his mother still inside. Finding her pinned under the rubble, he and Mikasa try to pull her out. The commotion of a nearby titan adds more stress to the situation. Eren looks beyond the houses, seeing gigantic titans prancing through the city, and attempts to pull the rubble over Carla. She insists that he take Mikasa and run. Eren, still struggling with debris, objects and continues his efforts. His mother then tells him that her legs were crushed by the rubble, so even if he manages to get her free, she will not be able to walk. Eren ignores her implications, yelling that he will carry her. In tears, Carla asks why he never listens to her. The argument is cut short when a titan is seen moving closer to their position. After more pleading from his mother and the titan still approaching, Hannes arrives. Carla begs him to take the children and run. At first, Hannes refuses, vowing to repay the debt he owes his family for all they have done for him. As he charges the titan towering above the family homestead, he suddenly stops, horrified at the frightening appearance of this titan. So yeah, Hannes was talking a lot of shit in the beginning of the episode, and then now that he's like face to face with one, he runs away.
Oh yeah.
Which was, I mean, kind of par for the course. You kind of were expecting that to happen.
You knew that was going to happen.
He withdraws his blade and runs, grabbing the 2 children. With Carla grateful and Eren protesting, Hannes makes a run for it. Carla covers her mouth, crying, silently begging for her children's return. Eren, looking behind on Hannes' shoulder, gasps as he sees the titan move debris of the house away, eyeing Carla. The titan grabs her, and Eren screams for it to stop. It breaks her back with its hands and devours her, blood spewing from its mouth.
Oh, I was dying.
Eren can only look back in despair as the titan devours his mother, blood splattered over itself and the ground below. Yeah, that was some imagery. End of episode. That was some imagery.
That and just their faces.
Yeah.
And again, it's anime, so you're just like, how can this be so shocking? But I think anime and illustration and art can really do that to you. It can really just evoke those emotions. Mm-hmm. And this did. I mean, I saw them, and obviously I know it's anime, but I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no one's going to survive.
Right.
So, I mean, that was all going through me.
And then as the episode ends, you kind of see like the silhouette of the city with all of these like titans, the top of their heads, like walking around the city. And that's how the episode ends. It was really, I mean, once again, I know this is some bloody imagery, but just, it looks so beautiful. Like it's so beautifully,
really
it's beautifully animated. It's not like beautiful imagery, but like it's so beautifully animated that like you just get immersed in it and you just like forget for a second. You're like, wait, I'm watching an anime. And you're just like, and you're like, wait, like this isn't really happening. Like you just kind of get like, you forget for a second. I think that's what, whether it's animated or live action, I think any good show does that. Like you forget for a second that you're not in this world. We're experiencing that with Last of Us. We're experiencing that with Handmaid's Tale, and those are kind of the 2 current shows that we're watching that are airing right now. That like about 5 minutes into the last week's episode of Handmaid's Tale, like my heart was racing. Like, and I'm like, I'm not even there. Like
exactly.
This is a work of fiction, and I'm getting like, I'm just like panting. And so Attack on Titan, once again, I think this is another one of those that like, it's just like Death Note. Even if you're not into anime, you could get into this. Like,
oh, absolutely.
It is more than just, I think, like I said, I think when people think anime, they think of the very typical anime that like Goku and Pikachu, and they think of like kind of like the very, if you don't watch anime, you think of just the very standard very kiddie, very child centric, and there are so many other ones that are very similar to Attack on Titan, very similar to Death Note, where they are very violent, they're very mature. The themes are very dark, and it is with Death Note, it was a question of like vigilante justice, and with this, it's kind of like, would you rather live in fear, live in ignorance? Would you rather like know the truth? Would you rather like live outside? It's kind of more like The Giver, where it's like, do you want to kind of live in this black and white world where like, oh, we're behind the wall, we're safe, this is never going to happen. But then you have Eren, who's just like constantly thinking like, what if we're not safe? Like, what if it's just a wall? Like, it's just a wall. Titans can break through it, and then it ends up happening, and it's like, okay, well then now what? That's the show. That's what. Right. Now what is going to be the rest of the show?
I mean, I'll just say, I was wondering, what is it taking this long?
Yeah.
Like, why did it just happen?
Right.
I mean, because then we could compare it to stuff like The Last of Us, where, some of the cordyceps have just been dormant, and something jolts them up, and then they awaken. So, I mean, there's a lot to be answered in the show that, I mean, maybe we'll keep watching it. I'd keep watching a few episodes here and there in between everything. So
I'm down.
I really liked it.
We have this summer to just kind of watch stuff. So because you won't have as much to do with work, and I'll have my normal schedule. So so it's on Hulu. I highly recommend it. Even if you're not into anime, if you just kind of like supernatural, post-apocalyptic, that kind of whole thing. If you like, I could argue if you like creature features, you would like this.
Yeah.
If you like disaster stuff, like that is also kind of it too. I think this is going to turn into kind of like a war thing, like a army type military. That's the word I'm looking for. A military type thing where they join the corps and they join the scouts and such. So yeah, highly recommend it. And all right, you think that about wraps this one up?
That about wraps it up.
All right. That wraps up this episode of We Judge a Show by its pilot. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, go ahead and follow us on whichever platform you're listening to this podcast on. That way you'll be notified every time we publish a new episode. You can follow us on Instagram at We Judge Pilot Pod. We're also on Facebook. You can leave us a comment, suggest a show for us to watch, or leave some emojis in the comments.
All right. I have the emoji that has like the really big grin that is like shows all the teeth. That's like one of my favorites to send people anyway. The eyes, the hand, the soldier, the sleeping or crying emoji, the bells, the arm.
I see that at the very bottom.
The arm, the wood, the dinner plate, the cattle, the bricks, the rock in the house, and then the knife.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we are going to head out, but we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening.